guys, welcome back to another video. Happy New Year. It is currently 2022 when this video is going out, and I am doing my worst movies of the year. I have gone through all my reviews, looked at all the scores I've given movies, and from that I have got a list here going from 1 to 10 of my worst movies. So let's go. The 10th worst movie that I rated of the year was Fast and Furious 9. Now I gave that a 5 out of 10. I actually gave quite a few movies 5 out of 10, but this was how I felt, the worst of the best, or the bad bunch, I guess. Yeah, Fast and Furious 9, very forgetful. One I'm not really in a rush to buy. I don't even own it now. It was one of the first big blockbusters to come back in cinemas after obviously COVID-19, etc. And all the lockdowns that we had at the beginning of 2021. But Fast and Furious 9 for me is one of the most forgetful movies of the year. Like, it was awful. Really, really bad. Dumb plot and just terrible. The mad thing is they're going to get worse from here, so believe me, there's quite a few in here. Number 9 and the next worst, which I gave a 4.5 out of 10, so worse score than Fast 9. That is Red Notice. That is the Netflix movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot. Really awful, really bad, predictable plot. Felt like a TV film. Just didn't really grasp me. Was just really bad. Had a lot of potential, but just didn't hold its own enough for me, and I gave that a 4.5 out of 10. So I was really disappointed with that one. That one really upset me. Coming in then at number 8, we actually have 4 movies now from 8 to 5th, which I rated all a 4 out of 10. And this, I think, was the best of the 4 out of 10. And that one was Cruella. Now, a lot of people rated Cruella very highly. I didn't. My first watch anyway, I didn't really enjoy it. The fact that people love it makes me think I need to go back and watch it. I don't own it. It's not, like I said, if it's in this list, I probably don't own it, which I don't. And I may revisit it, but I did give that the highest of the 4s, and that was Cruella. So I need to revisit that at some point. But at the time, I didn't enjoy it, and you know, it's still forgetful now, really, to me. In 7th place, I then gave also 4 out of 10 to House of Gucci. This was my biggest disappointment of the year. If you'd said to me what film I'm most excited to see in, it was House of Gucci. I was really, really gutted when I reviewed that in November, and it was really, well, it was really sad. But yeah, House of Gucci I gave a 4 out of 10. Disappointing, but, you know, is what it is, I guess. Number 6 then, this is a movie starring Tom Holland as well as Daisy Ridley. A great cast, really hoped it would have been good, and that was Chaos Walking. I gave that a 4 out of 10. It was awful. Like, this was a movie that had so much different directors at the time, and it's just, you know, production issues and delays, and yeah, it was boring, really bad, and just dull and just bland and meh. It was really bad. Again, another one I was quite disappointed to not enjoy as much. For number 5 then, this is a movie I went to the cinema to see, and this is one that probably shouldn't have been in the cinema. This is 4 out of 10 also, and that is for Stillwater. This is a movie starring Matt Damon, and he basically is, you know, trying to... This is the thing with this movie, there's not much of a plot. Like, he's a struggling single dad who is wanting to reconnect with his daughter, who's like in prison wrongly and wants to try and think, but it seems to be too dramatic of a plot for the film. It doesn't set the right tone. It had some good visuals in there, and it had some some nice filmmaking stuff to it, but the actual plot of the movie was just really boring, really dull, and if anything, too intense for what the pace of the movie felt like. It was trying to do too much, but just, yeah, wasn't very good. Wasn't good. Next, we go into the 3 out of 10s. I actually rated 3 movies 3 out of 10, so these are 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. In 4th place, I gave my worst movie of the year, Sweet Girl. This is a movie starring Jason Momoa, who is basically on the run with his daughter, trying to run away, and then the ending just completely ruins it. Like, I'm not going to ruin it for everyone else, but it just completely ruins it. You just get to the end of the film and you're like, what? Why? How? That is so stupid. That is literally how you feel. And when you watch a movie for 2 hours, you don't want to feel like that at the very end, let's just say. It was a good film up until there. It had some good bits to it. You know, it had some, you know, it was a bit flawed in other areas, of course, but it really ruined the ending, really ruined it for me. It just didn't end well at all. So 4, well, it's my best 3 out of 10, but, you know, 4th worst film of the year, so Sweet Girl. The 3rd worst film of the year I gave to Woman in the Window. This is a movie starring Amy Adams, who stars as a woman looking in the window. I think it's based on a book. It's a Netflix film. It felt like a TV film, and me and Hannah watched it throughout the whole film. It was just like like our faces were just so confused throughout the whole thing. Really boring. I can imagine the book is really good, but the adaptation to a movie was just terrible. I think the book would be really interesting. You can get a lot of detail in there, but when you're trying to, you want to, in the film, you've got to keep the pace going faster, and I think that's just where it was kind of flawed. This may have been good as a TV show, with episodes building tension throughout, and you have that more time, obviously, but for a film, 2 hours, it just wasn't great. So Woman in the Window was my third worst film of the year. The next two, this is the last 3 out of 10, and that is for number 2, Cop Shop, starring Gerard Butler. I went to the cinema to see this, and oh my god, it was so boring. I think it's telling, actually. I was actually watching Big Paulie's Blu-ray hunting video the other day, and he was saying that Big Cop Shop actually isn't even getting a Blu-ray release in the UK, it's only getting a DVD, and I mean, that just goes to show. It was really awful. I'm glad I didn't pay for a ticket. I just went to see it through my unlimited card. It was terrible. That was one that felt like a straight to DVD release, which kind of makes sense why it's just on DVD. One you should definitely miss. One that didn't really hit any spots for me, and one that I just found to be really, really bad. And yeah, disappointing, but one of those. So now we're going to the worst film of 2021. This I gave a 2 out of 10. I went to the cinema to see, and it's Reminiscence. This stars Hugh Jackman. I gotta say, Hugh Jackman's performance in this film was very good, but the whole film for me felt really flawed. It just didn't feel like a film. It just felt like I was just... It was really strange. It just felt like an advert at times. It was really, really strange. I think it makes sense to me anyway. It's now on the 2 for 30 at HMV. It's basically come straight out and gone straight on 2 for 30, which... I don't know if that is telling, but we went to the cinema like opening night, was really excited for it, we're big Hugh Jackman fans, and even then there was like 4 or 5 people in there on opening night. So it was one of those films that just didn't really have a good trailer to it. It doesn't really have a good story to it. It has good visuals, I'll give it that, but the visuals do look a lot CGI like. There's some films that kind of gets away with it looking like CGI, like things like Pokemon Detective Pikachu, etc. But, the actual city literally looks like, CGI. But it kind of works. In this, it just really didn't, because they tried to make it look real, but it looked like I was playing a video game with Hugh Jackman walking around on. It was really bad. The plot was interesting. It's all about, you reminisce on certain areas, and you have these bits in your mind that you want to go back to, and you reminisce on them, on those memories. So it's an interesting plot, but it just didn't grab at anyone, it just didn't grab me. It was one of those films that I really could have walked out. I watched every one of these films entirely. I didn't walk out of any of these films or anything. I watched these fully. But Reminiscence, for me, I gave it 2 out of 10. Again, similar to House of Gucci, I was really looking forward to it because I like Hugh Jackman and all that, but it just wasn't very good, and it's a real shame. But there is my worst movies of 2021. Have you got any of these movies in your worst list of the year or anything? Let me know your thoughts down below. If you haven't, go back and watch my best movies of 2021. That'll be a more positive video. Unfortunately, this is a really negative video, but these are the worst movies. So yeah, a few days ago I did upload the best movies of 2021, so please go and watch that. I hope you've had a good new year and a good Christmas break. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.